I was just really excited just for the town and especially for the kids and the staff here. And it's been a lot of work at Paul Kendall and Jim Adams and a host of people that have put in hours and hours to make this a reality, and to see it come out and be so beautiful. It's been just, very rewarding for everybody, I think.
It's really nice. It's so much nicer.
And who are we thanking for all of this? Mr. Adams? Who else? How about everybody in the town?
Yeah.
Your mom and dad and the whole community. It's really the beautiful place to learn and grow, as I say.
It's going to be great. Looking forward to, last year here and then moving on to college.
Yeah, nice.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Awesome. It's your senior year. What are you most excited about?
I'm really excited to see our class step into the role as leaders. Like we said, we had a great start so far. The first 3 days went amazing. The scavenger hunt went amazing. Everyone's being respectful. Everyone's stepping up to the challenge.
I'm excited for the year. This was a great kickoff.
What are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to all of the senior events and just, enjoying with my class one last time.
Looking forward to,
I'm going to do this for my friends.
This senior year, I'm looking forward to graduating and getting out.
I'm looking forward to spending having all the memories with my friends that I can look back on.
Yes.
It's high school.
It is high school, so we finally get the freedom to do what we finally wanted to do. Yeah. Thank you so much.
I'm excited for the soccer team to win the TVL championship.
Hey guys, we're at the fire truck today with the senior class. Just ran around. Today's a good day.
Yo, what's up, guys? Class of 2024 checking in. We're
the best class. They're gonna miss us the most.
What I'm looking forward to senior year, kicking everyone's butt in football, kicking everyone's butt in soccer, living my dream, being at the school. Ashland's the best.
That's right. Go Clockers. Go Clockers.
Go Clock Town. Good luck at tonight's game.
Hello and welcome to Around the Clock. As we kick off our 10th season of Around the Clock, we are bringing back one of our very first interviews. We have Patricia O'Neill with us. 10 years ago, she had just won The Hero with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And I looked at that interview from 10 years ago, and first of all, thank you for coming back to Around the Clock.
Please, thank you for you.
And I know that you took what you did there and have parlayed it into a lot of different things. So first of all, 10 years. Can you believe it's been that long since you did the show?
Just like that. Cannot believe it.
Do you remember how you felt after winning?
Oh, the elation was unbelievable. The joy, the gratitude. We were on a high, the whole family, for at least a year after that. I mean, there were so many changes that happened to me as a woman and as an older woman that it just, every day was joyous. It was so much fun. It still is. It really is.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you took that, and when I went back and looked at the interview, there was a couple things. You were getting ready, and you were hoping to get a number to run Boston in 2014.
And I did.
Did you run in 2014?
I did.
And how did that go?
So I was one of the last people to cross the finish line with an official time. So I was super slow.
Okay.
But I did earn my medal. I did do the run. It was as thrilling as winning The Hero. It was so wonderful. Well, it was 2014, a year after the horrible bombings of 2013.
Right.
So I really, going for that run, I was running for a cause. I was angry still. I was motivated. I was doing it for the city of Boston. It felt good. I felt like I was doing my part.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. I've run a 5K, and I was never a runner. Well, that was a number of years ago. I've never been a runner, but I think people who run it are amazing, especially when you run it for charity. So
yes.
Any interest in running again? Or?
I can't run. I have thrown my back out. It actually happened during the marathon. So I see a wonderful chiropractor every every other
so
month.
no more running for
No more
you.
running, but I am an avid walker.
Okay.
So every day, 3 miles.
Good for you.
Yeah,
Good
thank
for you. The other thing you had talked about was you would have loved to have done Dancing with the Stars.
Yes.
Did that happen?
No, it did
No, it
not.
didn't. Oh, okay.
But it still could.
Okay.
So I like to think maybe I'll do something that attracts their attention and they may want to bring me.
Because the other thing is you've taken that win on The Hero and you are now acting. You've done movies, you've done TV shows. How did that happen? I mean, that's just amazing.
It was unbelievable. So Boston Casting, which is a large casting company here in Boston, was originally the casting company that sent out the Hero notification that they were looking to hire a Boston woman.
Okay.
So because of them and because of the winning on the show, they had my name. They had my picture with Dwayne. So they would send me casting notifications. They were doing a worldwide search for Aunt Jen for the movie Stronger, starring Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yep.
They were bringing in actresses from New York, from LA.
Yeah.
The director, David Gordon Green, just wasn't getting what he was looking for. They were looking for a heavy Boston accent, a tough, unfortunately stereotypical woman from Boston. So they remembered me from the show. Wow. They sent me the audition, the script. I actually auditioned on a Monday, and on a Tuesday I had a call back with Jake Gyllenhaal and David Gordon Green, and I will say it was unbelievable to be in an audition room without knowing that either one of them were going to be there to watch the performance. I was off book, so I had memorized the script. And it was so exciting to have Jake interacting and saying, that was really great. And then to have David asking me what I thought about the character, what I wanted to bring into it. It changed, that definitely changed my life. That was a life-changing moment.
And when was that? How soon after the show?
So that's 3 years after The Hero. So between The Hero and that point, I think I had done background on a couple of German films.
Oh, okay.
But nothing even close to that. I was trying to get into how to audition for films in Boston, but I was not successful until that moment.
Wow.
And now I'm happy to say I have mastered that and happy to help anyone who wants to audition.
And have you done anything since then?
Oh, yes.
Okay, what else have you done?
I've done so many films. Honest Thief with Liam Neeson. I play Robert Patrick. He's the Silver Terminator from Terminator 2. Everyone knows him as that. I play his wife in the film. Equalizer 2 with Denzel Washington.
Ooh!
Yeah, so I'm in the Blu-ray version. I play Faith the waitress. I'm one of the Uber passengers crying. It depends on which one you see.
It's funny you say that because we've just rewatched the Equalizer movies because we then went to see it in the movies.
Yep.
So we went to see 3 in the movies.
So the theater, I don't think I'm in that one. I'm in the Blu-ray cut.
Okay.
And that happens all the time in film. So you
cuts
film and you just hope to that ending edit that you make the picture. But even if you don't, it's still wonderful to have getting to film.
What was he
on
like
set.
to work with?
So this is the best story, and I'm so embarrassed to tell it. Denzel, all day long, he was filming just the people in the Uber scenes. And because my scene consisted of rain, I was one of the last people to film that day. Because they have to set up a green screen
that
like
makes
this
it look
with
like
rain.
raining.
And this is all done in the New England studios out in Fort Devens, Massachusetts. I get on set, and in the Scully cap, I'm all excited. I'm about to film. It's just Denzel and I look at the guy, and he goes, "You look disappointed, right?" I'm like, he goes, "I'm not Denzel." I'm like, "I know you're not Denzel." He goes, "Denzel doesn't work after 8 p.m." And I think this was around 11:30. So I had to film my scene with this double. So I never got to meet Denzel. But I met Antoine Fuqua. He was the director. And I will say I had mad actress crush on Antoine Fuqua. He was so wonderful. And he had the whole crew give me this lovely round of applause at the end of my performance, which was really nice.
Nice. Now, I would say, is there anything in the works, but there's no work being done. Talk to us, how are you being impacted and other people you know by this whole strike?
The strike is very disappointing. First of all, I give a lot of support to my fellow strikers, the Writers Guild, because without them, there are no actors. So both guilds have to find an amenable solution together, or it's never going to be a fluid acting community again.
Right.
The productions here in Boston have stopped.
Right.
There are none. Other than some indie films are getting permission by the union to go ahead and film.
Okay.
For me personally, I haven't had an audition since June.
Wow.
Which is very disappointing because, to be honest, the auditions would probably be about 4 to 5 weekly.
Oh my goodness.
Because everything's self-taped since COVID.
Right,
so
right.
you can actually audition for here, for New York,
Right.
for LA. I mean, it's really opened up the pool of how to audition. But unfortunately, too, it's also opened up all the competition for auditioning.
Right,
So,
right. How did COVID hit you?
COVID was horrible for actors because for a long time you would have to, before you'd go on set, you'd have to take a COVID test 48 hours before set. When you get on set, another COVID test. Then you were isolated. Then you were masked. We lost the camaraderie.
Did you
that
do
we
some
would
filming
feel.
during
Oh,
COVID?
yes.
Yeah.
I filmed for George Clooney. This is a
Oh,
great
wow.
story. Yeah, so The Tender Bar, I think
Okay.
that's on Amazon Prime right now. I had auditioned. I got a background role towards the end of that film. And it was unbelievable to work with George Clooney because he was cooler than I had ever expected. Unfortunately, we were all masked. We were
Right.
isolated. So he was a lovely man. He joked with us, but we couldn't really hang out with
Right,
him like we
right.
would normally on a set
Yeah.
during the downtime, during the set rework and all that.
So strike is going on. What do you
Yeah.
hope will happen for you after the strike? What would be?
Love that.
I guess the question is, what are you looking for? What would be your ideal role?
Ideal role was, it was coming to Boston this fall. And I apologize, the working title, I can't remember the name of the film.
okay.
However, they are looking specifically for female Boston mother types with the accent. So of course I would be heavy with the mother types.
Yeah.
And the Wicked in Boston and all that stuff.
Right, right.
But that role, I was written for it, and I am hoping that I get to either play Joey's mom, I can remember the character, and I think I had auditioned for that, I want to say April, and then back again in June, but
Okay.
now we were told that the production's delayed, and now I don't even think it's coming this fall.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that would be ideal, is to get a principal speaking role in a film, filming here in Boston, so that I can keep my day job, and also...
And what's your day job?
I work for TJX.
Oh.
Fantastic company.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
Thank you so
okay.
much. So
Because
I
you've
work-
done a couple different things. When we
Yeah.
interviewed you 10 years
I was
ago,
working for Richard
you were working for
Francis.
Richard Francis.
Yeah.
And then I know I think you did somewhere along the line some real estate.
Yes, I was a realtor for 30 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I remember you were in some local community theater a couple years ago
Joe White.
with Joe White at
The
Ashland
absolute
Community
number
Theater.
one director. I mean, Joe White, I think he just got nominated for a couple of awards,
Yeah, some
too.
of his short films have
Yeah.
been for a couple things.
Terrific,
Yeah.
terrific person to work for.
Nice.
I've since gone on to do some acting on stage.
Oh, cool.
At the Wilbur in Boston. So that's been my
Oh,
last
wow.
2 big productions.
What did you do at the Wilbur?
So Casey Sherman and Dave Wedge, they are authors. Casey's known for writing Disney's The Finest Hours, starring
Okay.
Chris Pine and Casey Affleck.
Yep.
He wrote Hunting Whitey, which is a
Okay.
book about hunting Whitey Bulger.
Yeah.
So he brought his podcast to the theater. New experience. The guests sit and listen to the podcast, but it's also acted on stage, the different scenes that they're reading about.
Oh,
so
cool.
Neil McDonough, who is famous for Tombstone, Band of Brothers, he played Whitey Bulger, and I play Noreen Gleason, the FBI agent who is responsible for bringing Whitey to justice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I did his Sinners and Saints, same role, and then Hunting Whitey. And Casey's hoping to bring this production over to London, New York, as a podcast.
And will you be going with him if he does it in
knock
person?
on wood. But they may replace me with an actress that might be more of a headliner. But let's hope that this gets my name out there.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
So you said that your family was your support?
Yeah.
How's your family doing?
You're so nice to ask. Thank you. I'm still madly in love with my husband, Bob.
Nice. How long have you been married?
35 4 years.
Nice.
Thank you.
Nice.
Our oldest son is getting married. He got engaged recently.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. Alex is moving out at the end of this month, which will break my heart, but it's time for him to
And how old are your kids?
Connor's 30, Alex is 28, and Madeline is a nurse at Beth Israel Hospital. Yeah, so they're all doing really well. Thank you for asking.
Oh, you're welcome.
I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
that.
Yeah, it's amazing. I look at what my kids were doing and what, I think about 10 years later, where my kids were and where we are now, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Now, I'm a Facebook stalker, so that's how I knew. You're always at a show in New York. Your girls are dancers, which I know.
Yep.
And then before we started filming today,
Yeah.
you did let me know that one of your daughters wants to be an actress, which I'm so enamored with.
Yeah, so my older daughter actually did stuff here in Ashland in high school,
That's awesome.
and then went to Emerson and. Living the life in New York. Actually, both my girls live in New York, and they love it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll admit I'm a proud mom.
that.
They're both doing very well. So it's one of those things. I'm sure you know this as a mom. If your kids are out there doing what they love, then you know you've done your job.
Absolutely.
And that's the important thing.
Totally. I love that you get to enjoy that with them.
Oh,
just from watching
it's
it
so
on
much.
Facebook.
Oh yeah, it's so much fun. It's so when we go down to New York, we always try to see a show, and of course, my husband and I do local theater and stuff, so we love to
I
support
love
it.
it.
Not we're backstage versus this. This is my only on camera on stage thing, but it's fun.
That's
so this is
fabulous.
my creative thing.
I love that.
Anyway, thank you so much for coming back,
you.
Patricia. So one last thing. So when you were on 10 years ago, I guess I didn't realize I had started this with that first interview with you, is I asked the question, was there something about you that not many people knew that you were willing to share? And at that point, you told us that your mom was half Asian.
Yes.
And you were very blonde at the time.
Yes.
So
Richard Francis.
is there something else about you that not many people would know that you'd like to share with our viewing audience for this interview?
I love that. The best is yet to come.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's a
Something
good
good.
thing. That's a good thing to think of.
Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Patricia, for coming back.
I appreciate it.
Good
so
luck,
much.
and
Thank you.
if you ever make it big, don't forget about us back here because we'd love to share your
Ashland
story.
is always going to be my home, so thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
And that wraps up this segment with Patricia O'Neill, who has come back after one of our first interviews 10 years ago here on Around the Clock. Hello, it is time for the Select Board update for the meeting that happened on Wednesday, September 6th. I'm Yolanda Greaves, current Vice Chair of the Ashland Select Board and your host of Around the Clock. The meeting started at about 6:45. We had a short executive session to review and approve some minutes from another executive session. We started at 7 o'clock. We had 2 hearings in front of us and a few other events. We had some citizens' participation. We then started with Paul Gustafson. He is the owner, or was the owner, of 433 Chestnut Street, and he purchased it from the house that is known as the Henry Warren House. He has since refurbished it and is now on the market. It is a beautiful job that he's done. If you've watched previous select board meetings, we've talked to him about using some of the old materials, and that is now on the market. So we had to talk to him about some finalizing paperwork and agreements with the sale of that house. We then had a public hearing for Ashland Fish and Game. They were back in front of us for a complete liquor license. They were in front of us back in April for just a beer and wine license for their pavilion. And now they realize that they really need a full liquor license because of the variety of liquors and alcohols and all the things that are out there. So we approved that for them. They have the ability to serve that in the pavilion as they're doing events or parties from 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. every day. So if you're looking for a place to rent, check out the Ashland Fish and Game. From there, we went to a public hearing for Mike's Auto Sales. They are currently on Magunko Road, and they were moving from 50 Magunko Road to 185 Magunko Road. I'm sorry, other way around, from 185 Magunko to 50. So next time you take a ride around town, go down Magunko Road. They've done apparently a very nice job in updating the facility and where they're going to be there now at 50. They do car repairs, and they also have some sales. That's what the Class 2 license is for. From there, we went into and discussed a proposal that Michael Herbert brought to us regarding the Valentine property. We've owned the property about 5 or 6 years now. We did some work before COVID. We had a committee. If you've driven by, you've been seeing all kinds of work getting done, sideboard, painting, the interiors getting done. The next step that I keep asking for, and many people have, is what are we going to do with the property? So Michael Herbert, the town manager, brought forward a proposal where part of the house would be used for a newly created park and rec department. The downstairs would be available for rental or for town or for private events, and the barn would be available for rental for private events or even town events. The next step after us, the select board seeing the proposal, is we're going to be having a public forum. So look for that date. It'll be sometime early November. The date wasn't selected yet, probably the first or second week, where we're going to bring this proposal to the public and look for your feedback. So be on the lookout for that. We had a discussion about our BAA grant process. So we have the BAA grant numbers. We have the numbers for the runners because of the fact that we're a Boston Marathon town. The marathon runs through town. The BAA gives us numbers. And we have this process where we then give out funding. We give out grants to different organizations. Certain money can go toward 501(c)(3) or true nonprofit groups, and other monies can go to other groups. So we've split out now what that process is. So when you go to the website, if you're a nonprofit, you'd fill out one form. If you're not a nonprofit, you'd fill out another form. We've increased the maximums, so you can now apply up to $4,000 if you're a nonprofit. And over 2 grant cycles, so a fall and a spring, or a spring and a fall, depending what order, you can get up to $6,000. And there will also be some requirements for showing us how you've used the funds. And all that will now be available on the website. So go ahead and check that out. We then went through our, hold on, checking my notes here. There we go. We then discussed the closure of the MBTA station. If you are a commuter into Boston from the Ashland station, you have known for the last week that the station itself is closed due to major renovations. Almost $3 million in repairs are going to be happening there. So you need to either go to Framingham or Southborough, depending on which direction you're heading or where you want to park. We're trying to get them to open the station, or at least the parking with the shuttle. That hasn't happened yet, so just add extra time and be on the lookout. If we can get them to open the station, at least for some parking, we will let you know. And there are shuttles available if you're dropped off or walk to the station. We then talked about an all-premise liquor license. So right now, as a group wants, or a restaurant wants to get a liquor license, it's for a specific area. When we allowed restaurants to do outdoor, we had to extend it to their outdoor area. An all-premise license would be for someone like the Warren Conference Center. They currently have a liquor license for their lodge and their hotel. If they want to get a liquor license for another area, they'd have to get a separate license, unless we discussed or allowed them to do what's called an all-premise. So you could get your wine at the lodge, you could walk over to the white building, and you could walk over to a tent. We haven't made a final decision. We said we would look at it on a case-by-case basis. My feeling is, and if this is going to help our businesses, let's see what we can do. But no final decision has been made. And then the last part, the last thing before our consent agenda, we have opened up our acceptance for runners. If you would like to run the Boston Marathon on behalf of the town of Ashland, you can go to the website, and there is a form where you fill it out to say that you'd like to run. The commitment is to raise $3,000 in funds, and then you can have a number. If we have more than the 12 numbers that we have available, the names would get picked out of a hat, and preference is given to either Ashland residents or Ashland employees. If you're neither of those, but you see this and you'd like a number, you can certainly apply, and if we have any available, you may be able to get one. We then approved our consent agenda, and we went into the town manager's report. He updated us on the downtown project. If you're driving through downtown, you're seeing that things are continually changing. The paving is now completely done. They're in the process of laying down the crosswalks, and it's not just a matter of painting them. They're actually textured crosswalks with a very interesting tool that they use to make the grid and to make it look like cobblestone. Then we are in the process of doing the connections to the underground for all the buildings, and of course the last thing will be removing the poles, and that'll probably be next spring before we finish everything in downtown. But every day there's something a little bit different that you notice as you drive through downtown. From there we talked about the Mendez. The Mendez School is open. It was available for the first day of school on September 5th. And their open house is happening on September 9th in the afternoon. You get the ability to tour the school. We talked about an upcoming bond issue. Now that the Mendez is just about done, we're looking at doing some short-term borrowing for some large amounts and then eventually going into long-term borrowing. And we'll talk about that as it continues moving forward. Grand reopening of the community center. If you remember back in February, there were some sprinkler issues, some damage done to our community center. It's hard to believe it's taken this long, but the community center is now completely redone, or at least the areas that were damaged. And also, as they were doing the work, they found that some of the original construction might not have been done as well as it should have. So some of those improvements were made as well, so that the building will now be nice and sturdy and strong and in a good position for many years. But that is September 12th from 10 to noon. Another thing we want to talk about is, the town manager talked to us about this, is there was a firefighter grant. It's a regional grant. It was for $921,000. It came to the town of Ashland, Southborough, and Hopkinton. Ashland was the lead on this, and it is for new air tanks and air apparatus. So what it means is the three towns will now have the same equipment, so that if someone from Ashland, if we have to go help out Hopkinton and we're using their equipment, we have the same equipment so they can work together. And that was a real big win. Like I said, almost $1 million grant for this new equipment, and that equipment is not cheap. So thank you to Chief Roby and our Assistant Chief Morgan for getting that, as well as Lieutenant Boland for getting that grant for us and the other communities. From there, we went into board reports, and we wrapped up just before we had to do an extension after 10 o'clock. And that was the meeting that happened on Wednesday, September 6th, and the next meeting will be in 2 weeks.
It's going to be great. Looking forward to, last year here and then moving on to college.
Yeah, nice.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Awesome. Your senior year, what are you most excited about?
I'm really excited to see our class step into the role as leaders. Like we said, we had a great start so far. The first 3 days went amazing. The scavenger hunt went amazing. Everyone's being respectful. Everyone's stepping up to the challenge.
I'm excited for the year. This was a great kickoff.
What are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to all of the senior events and just, enjoying with my class one last time.
Looking forward to, I'm going to do this with my friends. This senior year, I'm looking forward to graduating and getting out.
I'm looking forward to spending having all the memories with my friends that I can look back on.
Yes.
It's high school.
It is high school, so we finally get the freedom to do what we finally wanted to do. Yeah. Thank you so much.
I'm excited for the soccer team to win the TVL championship.
Hey guys, we're at the fire truck today with the senior class. Just ran around. Today's a good day.
Yo, what's up, guys? Class of 2024 checking in. What I'm looking
We're the best
forward
class. They're gonna miss us the most.
What I'm looking forward to senior year, kicking everyone's butt in football, kicking everyone's butt in soccer, living my dream, being at the school. Ashland's the best.
That's right. Go Clockers. Go Clockers.
Go Clock Town.